Well, good morning, YouTubers. It's January 15th, 2012. Well, Cryptome.org released this Department of Homeland Security uh, um, targeted sites for observation, whatever. And I got curious and looked at a couple of them. First off, all you people who are so worried about being spied on. Sure, there is some bad element that has been entrenched in this nation for a very, very long time. And but in general, this principle of opposing spying and surveillance is silly. I mean, any of you who are going around doing your whether patriot or normal sane or whatever type research, and someone tells you, well, your opposition is up to something, or got this or that leak on you, oh, they're, a whistleblowing hero. On the other hand, if somebody tells Homeland Security factual material about you, they're a snitch, okay? This is ridiculous. Frankly, I think that there are some very good uses for some of this surveillance, and the people who whine that they don't have community, but on the other hand they don't want everybody being able to see everything, are at odds with themselves, because the nature of small town, village, in camp, tribal segment life is that everybody's in everybody's business. Everybody knows everything about everyone, and they're all talking about each other. There's an entrenched kind of security, and you got the nosy little old ladies constantly staring out the window or whatever. And the surveillance global village thing is at least insofar as one guy, I forget his name, David something or other, I think, said the solution to this problem is just everybody be able to surveil everybody, including the government surveil us surveil the government, whatever. This does in fact restore that primitive condition of life, all right? So it's not bad in itself, at least if you are in favor of your global village concept. But here's another good reason for such a Department of Homeland Security collection of links to exist, because then you get to go and wade through all these and see what in there is interesting. And most of it's boring as hell. Okay. I haven't got time to deal with all of it anyway, and frankly I don't know what they're after with some of it, and of course a lot of any kind of police surveillance or whatever is been described as 90 to 99% boring and 10 seconds of action and all that. So none of these kind of jobs are something for a person with fantasies of being James Bond and all that stuff to get into. Frankly, I'm not sure those fantasies are terribly healthy. In fact, the kind of hyper alertness that such any kind of lifestyle, whether legal, criminal, moral, or immoral, requires is not even good for you. There was a coroner in Italy who saw an awful lot of bodies, including dead mafiosi and dead Neapolitan version. It's a different name, and they're a little more out in the open. But these bodies would come through on his table, okay, and they died of a knife or garrote or a poison, perhaps, I don't know, gunshot usually, whatever. But while he's carving on them to establish exactly their death and the time of death and anything could be used in court, what he notices is that most of these guys were all set to die in the next 10, 20 years anyway, because of the stress diseases in their bodies. They lived the kind of hyper-alert life that these action and thrill seekers want to have. And it tears your body up, okay? You cannot maintain this condition without it shortens your life. All right, now back Now, this brings us full circle in a way to an interesting subject: explosions. Okay, on the Department of Homeland Security list, there's something called Cryptome.org, and what they released well, I'm not sure if they're on the list, I don't remember. I'm looking at Cryptome's list of interesting stuff, and they leaked the Department of Homeland Security list. And on it is something about a gas called, where is this thing? Where did that go? Anyway, it's called Tylar. And it was a file about the prohibition of Tylar. This stuff has a tendency to blow up. Well, I googled Tylar, and you know what that stuff is? This gas is a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen contained in the same canisters. What idiot would put hydrogen and oxygen in the same canister at the same time? And what idiot in whatever safety or whatever type of agency ever approved the thing's existence in the first point, approved Tylar to exist in the first place? Now, thank God for DHS and for Cryptome and for having a list and for whoever leaked it, because now you safety and environmental people should get on that and find out why something like Tylar could exist in the first place.